Hello, and welcome to Channel Divinity, a 5th edition actual play Dungeons & Dragons podcast. I'm Trent. I'll be your DM for this homebrew campaign, and going around the table I have...
I'm David, and I play Cassiel De'Hart.
Dean, and I play Vesper Ravenwing.
I'm Gordon, and I play Blank.
Last time on Channel Divinity. Vesper, what happened?
Oh, it's been a minute. So I remember the last part, but the beginning was, we met a lot of Cass's family. Basically, the evil cultist lady that ran away when we stopped them in the warehouse was his daughter. She's part of the Blue Hand. She's evil. She killed Freya. And then Cass had a mental breakdown, and he met his other daughter at the near the tower in the Hunters Guild. And now he's, just emotionally damaged.
Emotional damage.
And then Blank had to power down, and then Vesper wants to find out who gave the key up for auction that the Mountainsbane family bought. So he wants to meet with the Summerwind family or whatever they're called.
Summerwood.
Wow, I was closer than I thought.
You were very close.
Yeah, and then right at the end, the next day, that was a long day before, like 4 episodes worth in one day.
Yep. Maybe more.
Yeah, and then we were bringing Blank's drone over to the Magicrafters, and we pressed a button, it beeped, and it was like, drones incoming, target found, or something like that.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what it said. And we're just going to hop right back into that very moment.
Did it say it in Morse code?
Yes, it did say it in Morse code.
Oh, it was Morse code? We didn't understand it?
You did not understand it. Only Blank did.
Guys, Beckett said something.
What? Wait, who's Beckett?
Beckett, and he points to the drone.
The drone has a name?
Well, last time it kept saying Beckett, but now it's saying something different, so I'm going to call him Beckett. But Beckett decided to apparently get more Becketts over here.
Wait.
More of them are coming. That's so cool, right?
More of these are coming?
Yeah.
What did it say, Blank?
It said, location found, drones incoming, or something like that. But it's super cool, because then there's more of these, and we can look at them and study them.
That's not worrying.
Nope. Because then more of them can be studied by the Magicrafters.
I don't think, well... Okay.
Maybe let's hurry get to the Magicrafters.
Okay. Maybe they'll have an answer. Maybe the halfling knows.
Maybe. Okay. And we're gonna,
Book it?
yeah. Well, yeah. I don't think we're sprinting or anything, but we're gonna pick up our pace.
All right, you pick up the pace. It's still kind of on the other side of the city, because y'all are over kind of by where the Templars are.
I teleport.
No.
Yeah.
Unless you have a 4th level dimension door spell.
Egyptian teleportation magic.
Oh, let me roll for that. No, not a nat 20. You know Egyptian teleportation magic.
Joke's on you. I'm doing ancient Egyptian teleportation magic. Nope, that's an 11.
No, okay, stop.
I also got an 11.
All right. Okay.
Wait, if I get an 11, it happens.
11.
It's a 17.
Hey, I got a 17 though. Twins.
Let's go.
Anyways, you pick up the pace. It still takes you probably another 15 to 25 minutes to get over there. And on your way over there, you notice that clouds start to darken the sky a little bit.
That's not ominous.
Does it seem, do we need to roll like nature or something? Does it seem unnatural?
If you want to, you can.
I'm gonna roll, would that be nature?
Yeah, probably. Nature. Yeah, probably. Or survival, I guess.
I would as well.
It's just an 8.
Same.
Yeah, it's completely natural.
Dang it!
You can feel like the humidity in the air, and it feels like rain's gonna come soon.
Well, let's get inside. I don't know if this thing can handle rain.
Yeah.
Blank, how do you do in the rain?
I don't know. I'm usually inside when it rains.
Okay. Interesting.
Maybe now that his wires are covered, he'll be fine.
All right, yeah, we
All right, you walk in to the Magicrafters, and again, this is like a I'm pretty sure I described it last time you came here, but this is like a cinder block-ish building with a bunch of brass pipes like all around the walls and like sticking out and like chimney-like shape coming out of the top. If anyone has played Skyrim, which I know everyone here but Gordon has, picture like a Dwemer workshop kind of place. Yeah, so
Why you gotta call me out like that?
Yeah, why you gotta do him that hard?
because he needs to go play Skyrim. Like
That's
why.
really fair. All right.
This isn't the same place that Jules was, is it?
This is the exact same place that Jules
okay.
was. And so you open the door and you actually see the table that Jules was initially, but there is a different person there, and they're sitting at a chair like a normal like secretary should to wait. And it just seems that maybe Jules was impatient and brought her like equipment and stuff out there as well when she was supposed to be on more of like a secretarial duty at the time. Yep.
Got you.
And so as you walk in, this female gnome looks up and says, "Oh, well, hello there. How can what can I do for you?"
I'll walk up to them. Hello, from the auction, I made an appointment to come and see Gina Windwalker.
Walker.
Where's my notes?
Yeah, Gina Windwalker.
Oh,
Gina Windwalker.
oh, did you? Give me a second. Let me look through my notes and see if I see anything.
All right. There wasn't like a set time. She just said to come by.
Okay. And she looks through some papers and says, "Oh yes, she said we should expect you at some point. Let me go send a message to her real quick, and we'll see if what happens." And then she just cocks her head. And then she looks at you and says, "Okay, she says to go on in.
Where?
Right that way." And she points, and there's like a double door behind her. She points at the double door and says, "Right through there." And then you'll see a lot of stuff in the workshop. Please don't touch anything. You're going to go up the stairs to the left, go through the hallway. Then she gives you the rest of the directions so you can find your way to some kind of office.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good time. And remember, do not touch anything. There's a lot of stuff in here that is very dangerous.
Blink, how heavy is that thing?
It's on a dolly and it's decently heavy.
All right.
If you need help to get to the second floor with something, we have an elevator.
All right. Could we take that,
What's
please?
that?
Yeah, by the way, none of you have heard what an elevator is.
What's an elevator?
Oh, it's like a box that goes up and down.
Wait, what about like mine shafts having elevators? Because those are a thing in Shays.
Or would you call them lifts?
That's fair. There are a lot of mines in Shays, but I don't think they would call them elevators. They would probably call them like lifts
Okay.
or, yeah, something like that.
All right. Cool.
I'm sure there's a fancier word for it, but I don't think they would call them an elevator.
Yeah, I guess we need to talk to Gina about this thing right here.
Very well. She gives you a new set of directions.
Oh, and the thing in the wheelbarrow.
She cocks her head and then goes, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." So
His name is Beckett, and he pats it.
what kind of automaton is this? He's walking around and acting very casually.
He's sentient. He's
Blake
a Peterson.
just got.
You know what's funny? Me and Gordon looked at like one of the background things you can do for a Warforged, and one of them is literally that people treat you like an automaton and consider you like property to one of the other people in the party, and will automatically assume that.
That's hilarious.
So like, that's just what this person is assuming.
Well, he's his own person. He's sentient.
Oh, is he now?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
She looks back at you two and says, "Very well, that's where the elevator is, and you can take them on up and have Gina do whatever you want with it."
Oh,
Okay.
that lift-looking thing?
Yeah, it's similar to a lift. It's similar in principle, except lifts normally use weights and, ropes, whereas we use magicite crystals.
Oh.
Cool. Thank you. And we head over to the lift then.
All right, you head over to the lift, you wheel the dolly into it, and it's like a big, freight elevator.
It's Tower of Terror. That's why it's a freight elevator.
It's a freight elevator, so it can hold a lot of stuff. And as you go in, you notice that there is just there's 4 buttons first, second, third, and B. And then next to each of the buttons, there is a little white magicite crystal.
We got to go to the second floor, so probably we hit the number 2.
Blank reaches out his hand and presses it.
The elevator takes you to the second floor.
Cool.
But you notice that the magicite crystal next to 2 glows. And then the elevator suddenly like...
Vesper makes a Christmas tree. Just kidding.
It's 4 buttons, like in a line. This isn't Elf, unfortunately.
Blank will slowly push all the other ones because he's intrigued on how it works. So he'll
And
press
we
the
get
buttons
off.
and then like light up all the buttons. And
Each time you push it, they light up, and the magicite crystal next to it lights up. And you also notice once you get up, the magicite crystal is a little dimmer than it was before. And also, this isn't like a raw magicite crystal. This is in the shape of like a cylinder.
Okay.
It looks like a battery, but it's pure white.
Okay, so we're off on the second floor then.
Yep.
We follow the directions we got.
Yep, you follow the directions you got, and as you're looking around, you can see that the second floor, and you're going to assume the third floor, is like an open-air thing looking down, which just has like a balcony around the side with doors leading into offshoots. So you can look down and see into a central workshop where you see just a ton of different people working on a ton of different things. And blank, you see Jules down there. And she's using her fire breath as a blowtorch again, and she seems to be still working on some kind of the same thing you saw her working on last time, the pieces of magicite held together by wires in the shape of a gun. Though it looks a lot less junky than it did before. Now it seems to be a lot more sleek, and there are different runes carved into the side of it.
She's an artillerist, isn't she?
Maybe.
I'll knock on the door for the office. Is there a door?
Yes, there's a door.
Okay.
You knock on the door, and you hear, "Come in."
All right. Hello. Name's Cassiel. We were at the auction. We're the ones who requested a meeting with you.
Ah, yes. Please, come in, all of you.
Yeah, you should probably open the door next time before just talking through.
I opened it.
I'm just kidding.
You open the door, and as you walk in, you see a woman, the same halfling woman, sitting at a desk with a high elf kind of secretary kind of standing to their right and a little behind their chair. As you look around, this room is full of books. It's just got bookshelves on every side with a big open window right behind her, but just bookshelves on the other walls. And then she is got a bunch of like papers on her desk, and she is looking through them, holding them up and writing stuff down. And every once in a while, she hands one of the papers to the secretary next to her. And as you walk in, she gestures at 3 chairs in front of her. One of them is made of metal, and 2 of them are made of wood.
Blank, that one's for you. Point
Yes,
at the
I
metal one.
provided. I heard you had an automaton, so I had a more sturdy chair brought in. I
Wow,
can't remember if this is Gina's voice or not.
that was fast.
I think it was.
Do we have the drone with us?
Yeah, it's on a big dolly with a blanket covering it.
That's why we took the fright elevator.
Yeah. So I'm gonna roll it over and then like put the drone on the metal chair.
She just cocks her head and looks at you. Did you uncover it to put it down?
Mm-hmm.
She cocks her head and looks at you, and then looks at you two, Cassiel and Vesper, and says, "So I guess your automaton's not very well learned.
Well,
Also, that is what was at the auction."
yes,
Is-
that is just one of the things we wanted to talk to you about. Not actually what we made the meeting for, but it is something that we'd like to talk to you about. First, my name is Cassiel De'Hart.
De'Hart.
Yes, and I noticed you purchased a book on golem making
I did.
that happened to have family emblems of mine on it. And I don't
Indeed.
want it from you. I'm not that intelligent. But I'd like to look through it to see if there are any notes or any pictures or anything family related. Just for posterity's sake.
Very well. I can agree with that.
Thank you. And do you know anything about where that stuff came from?
I do not know where this particular one came from, but I have met, well, not personally, but I know of the De'Hart family.
Really?
I do not know which generation you are.
I'd be the
Probably like the 5th.
my mom, her parents were the famous ones, right?
I think her grandparents were the famous ones.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Her grandparents were like the really famous ones
Yeah.
that are like from like
Way back when.
thousands of years
Yep.
ago. So I'm the 4th.
I think you're the... Yeah, that'd be the 4th.
I'm part of the 4th one.
Ah, yes, I met... Well, again, not personally, but we have many of your family's resources here.
Really?
Yes. In fact, probably your grandmother gave some of your resources to my grandmother way long ago.
Was it during the Inquisition?
It was indeed. It was actually to get safe passage away from Brom.
Really? Okay. Yeah, my mother was probably part of those businesses and went with them over there.
Is your mother Venus?
No, that would be my aunt.
Ah.
I've never met her.
Vera?
Vera, yes, that's my mother.
Okay.
Well, this is surprising. I didn't know I'd meet someone so familiar with my family.
Well, to be fair, I thought everyone in your family was dead.
Just about.
Okay, well, that's morbid.
That's why I'm kind of looking into family stuff, just to make
Well,
to look.
tell you what, we'll take you down to the De'Hart wing in the basement.
You have a De'Hart wing.
We have many of your family's things.
I would appreciate that. I'm kind of baffled. I was not expecting that today.
Yes, we'll take you down there after business up here is finished.
A lot of stuff Cass hasn't expected.
Yeah, Cass is just kind of like scratching the back of his head, like, I don't know if I have like the energy to like all of this new stuff.
She turns and kind of shifts gears and says, well, which one of you purchased this drone and what is the purpose of bringing it here?
Blank will raise his hand.
So which one of you two purchased this drone?
This
Excuse
is
me.
Blank. He's not non-automaton. He's sentient.
Oh, are you a golem of some kind? Sentient?
I'm just a
He's
wooden
just
man.
Blank.
I'm just blank. Now, yeah. Anyway,
Fascinating.
yeah. I'm made of wood, and
What do you run on?
I'm not quite sure myself, but I was the one that
Hopes
purchased
and
the drone.
dreams.
Hopes and dreams. Yes, that's what I run on, or at
Wait
least
a
that's what these
wait
two
a
say.
minute.
He's lost a lot of his memories, I think.
Are you the one Jules was talking about?
He sighs and says, "Yeah, Jules. I've met her before, and
I thought she was crazy, but I guess maybe not.
No, she's
no,
crazy.
she's definitely crazy."
She sighs. Ah, yes, she is a handful, but she is also the greatest inventor that we have, and the greatest at revitalizing the ancient technology with magicite crystals. So, we'll take what we can get.
That's understandable. But yes, I was the one that purchased the drone, and I wanted to see if we could come to an agreement on studying it.
Oh, you're going to give it to us?
Not going to give it to you, but I was wondering if we could draft up a contract where we could share the invention because I'm the one that bought it, but I wanted to see if I could use your technologies and your resources to study it along with you guys. So you guys could benefit from the research, but I could still keep the item that I purchased.
That is a fascinating agreement.
He's the sponsor.
Yeah, she turns and looks at the high elf secretary behind her, and she says, Bart, take a note. Write up a contract real quick. I'm going to take these fine gentlemen down to the De'Hart wing. Write up a contract while I take them down. And he just nods his head and says, yes, sir, ma'am.
Vesper says, also, this thing, it seems to be beeping every once in a while, and we don't understand it, but Blank...
Yes, I see that blue light on it.
Yeah, Blank understands it.
She cocks her head and looks at you.
That's the entire reason I purchased it, was because I could understand some of the commands that it was beeping
It's some
out.
kind of language. But
Really?
it just recently said something like target found. And what did it say, Blank? Like it's sending more?
Yeah, it said more drones incoming.
That's concerning. Do you believe that this is going to be a violent act? Do we need to get the city on guard?
This is the first time he's like actually considered it being violent, and he's like, I don't believe so. Like, it hasn't done anything here.
We probably need to make them aware, at least.
That is fair, yeah.
Not to incite panic or anything.
Mhm.
She turns and looks at Bart again and says, Bart, take another note. Send a message to the High Council right now. Right now, before that contract. This might be more urgent. In fact, don't draft up that contract. This might put us all in danger. He just nods his head. Yes, ma'am.
You think this drone is dangerous or
I simply do not know. But it said drones incoming. That is a concerning statement, considering we know nothing of where this comes from, who made this, or what it even is.
yeah.
There are just too many unknowns.
So the
No.
halflings didn't make it.
No, at least not those of the soaring fleet.
Would you be able to inspect it quickly and figure out if it's weaponized?
I suppose I can do a quick rundown. She hops off her chair and pulls out a set of tinker tools and walks over to it and starts just like fiddling with stuff around the button, the panel, and as she fiddles around with it, a hatch opens up and a barrel comes out of what you guys don't know, but what looks to be a machine gun barrel. She goes, "This is strange. I've seen some artifacts that look like this, but we believe it's a weapon, so
That's a weapon right there? That pipe-looking thing?
yeah, we believe so. We found some ancient technology that is similar to this."
You've seen multiple machine guns. That was David.
She nods her head and says, "Yes, actually, we have several of these here.
Really? Oh, okay, I've never seen a weapon like that.
We've never gotten one to work on the magicite principles, but right now Jules is currently trying to make one entirely out of magicite."
Interesting.
So this thing is equipped with weapons.
Yes, we assume this is something like a crossbow because obviously we can't see the whole part of this one, but the ones that we've seen seem to have a trigger and sights that you can look down, similar to crossbows, but we're going to assume that they have a lot more destructive potential than most crossbows do.
Well, if it's an ancient relic, that makes sense.
Exactly.
Is there a way that we can, like, take the bolts out of this machine?
We have yet to find where the bolts come from, or if any of them have bolts or any kind of ammunition.
It is magical, right?
Yes.
So
Alright.
So,
Well, yeah, that warning probably would be best used right now rather than the contract. And
Bart's already gone.
okay,
Bart left the moment she said go now.
Not Bart.
Yeah, too bad, Bart.
That's a name I like using in my campaigns, too.
It's just a nice and easy name.
Well-
Bartholomew
No, Bartholomew is someone
or
different.
Bartimaeus.
No, this is just Bart.
Bartolomeo.
Just Bart.
Does he have a friend named Arnie?
No.
I got it.
I got it too, but I didn't want to get it. She turns and looks at you and says, "Well, considering our potential impending doom, do you still want to go look at the De'Hart wing?"
Yes, I mean, there's not much we can do in the meantime before impending doom, right?
Yes, I mean, it might not even be impending doom. It's just, like I said, too many unknowns.
Right. Okay, let's go see the wing then.
All right. Follow me. You can leave the drone here, or you can bring it with us. I do not care.
Blank will bring it because he thinks it's cool.
Cool.
Do we have to go downstairs and stuff?
You don't know. Are you going to put a sheet over this?
Yeah, I'll put a sheet
Okay,
over
you
it.
put the sheet back over it, or the blanket.
Does the hatch close that had the...
She closed it when she was done. She
closed
pushed the
it?
machine
Okay.
gun back in and closed
Got
it.
you.
Is the button still glowing?
Yes.
Are there any other buttons on there? You said there was like three.
Yeah, there's like a panel, and so
Yeah.
there's like several buttons. Think of like TV remote almost, but like not that many buttons, but still probably around 9-ish buttons.
Has
Okay.
this button always been glowing?
No.
Or has it only glowed right when a message has been received by it? Or like did it start glowing and then blank pressed it, received the message, and then it stopped glowing?
It
or has it been
started
glowing
glowing. You
since?
first noticed that it was glowing
This morning.
this morning. And you pushed it and a message was released and then it kept blinking. It was not blinking when you first bought it. A different one was blinking when you first got it. And when the guy pushed the other one, it was the thing that just said Beckett over and over and over again. And then other than that, you don't know what any of the other buttons do.
Okay.
All right, Gina walks. She's a slim halfling. She's a Lightfoot halfling from the Soaring Fleet. She walks out the door and says, "Follow me." And she walks over to the freight elevator, and after you all are in, she says, "Someone seems to have pushed all of the buttons, drained a lot of energy out of these magicite crystals. Need to have another training. Stupid newbies." She pushes the basement button.
Cassiel just looks over at Blank.
Blank will like lower himself over to Gina's height and just be like, "That was me. I'm sorry. I was really intrigued by how this mechanism worked."
She turns and looks at you and says, "Please don't do that again. While magicite is not a rare material, we do have to process it, and it is time-consuming and money-consuming."
That is understandable. I will thank you for making me aware.
You're welcome. You reach the basement. Also, as you're going down, some gentle music starts playing. Yeah. And then the doors open. As you walk out, you see you are in a basement. This looks like... Think of like Indiana Jones when he walks into the warehouse at like the end of the first movie and like light after light turns on down like the hallway and it's just like rows and rows of like boxes. And as she walks in, she says, "Follow me." And also it is like electrical lights above head. And you have not seen stuff like this before. And she says, "Follow me." And she turns and walks down one of the rows of boxes. And after several turns, you see it's just boxes on boxes on boxes. Some of the stuff is not in boxes. Some of the stuff that seems a little too big. And you see several things that are very confusing. You see something that is almost like a giant metal cart with two big tracks around the bottom with almost like a giant cannon-like thing sticking out the top. It's a tank.
Why do they have
You
a
see
tank?
You see a tank.
We see like the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah, you walk through, she points, and yes, I don't know what that gold box is, but anyone that tries to open it dies. It's kind of weird. She keeps walking. That one doesn't happen, but the tank does. She points to a box next to the tank and walks over to it and pulls it off and opens it, and you see there are 3 full machine guns inside it. And she says, "These are what I was talking about. We have other boxes around here, but no, these are 3 of them."
The stuff you have here is like alien almost.
Yeah.
Just for confirmation, when you say machine guns, you're meaning like mini guns, right? With like circular barrels.
No, not circular barrels. I'm meaning like the type of machine gun that you has like little...
Say hello to my little friend.
Yeah, that kind of machine gun.
Cool.
Yeah. I think what you're thinking of is a chain gun.
Yeah.
No, these are machine guns. Anyways, she closes the box, pushes it back on the shelf, and continues walking, and you enter a part of the warehouse that is a little bit different. As you leave this rows on rows of boxes, you enter, there's first a door. She opens it, and she walks in and says, "This is the De'Hart wing." And as the lights slowly come on, it is less like before, where it was rows on rows of boxes, and it's more like several overhead lights come on, pointing down right over several glass containers. And it turns on 2 on one side, on either side of you, and then another, and then another, and then a big central one in the front. And the one in the big central in the front is, it's probably around 40-ish feet tall.
Oh dear heavens.
It's a mech. I'm trying to think of a good way to describe this. This is a mech. This is a giant, thick, metal humanoid figure that...
Did you say this humanoid figure was thick?
How many C's?
Bruh. It is a very, very bulky figure, considering that it's 40 feet tall, but it is in the shape of a dark elf, actually.
Can we tell that?
You can tell that it is in the shape of an elf because it has like big ears that come off the side of its head, but it doesn't have exactly facial features. Where its face is, you just kind of see a cockpit with a seat, like a glass thing with a seat, but it does have big elves coming off the side, and it is entirely painted a dark gray.
How far did we go underground if it's 40 feet tall? Or are we still above ground and the ceiling is just 40 feet tall?
You went down into the basement.
So we went down deep. Holy cow.
Yeah, because this is, again, picture like warehouse. So like you were in a room that had very, very tall ceilings. So
What is that?
well, that is she turns and quickly looks at you, Cass, and says that is Venus's final creation before she passed on.
Wow. My aunt is impressive.
Yes.
When was this created? Why wouldn't my mom tell me about this?
She made this during the Inquisition to fight against the people that were killing off your family and chased your family out of Brom and stole all of your stuff. The rest of your family ran. She stayed. Went a little mad. Made this and went on a rampage.
Really?
Yes. She killed thousands.
I wonder if my mother was aware of that.
How did
She
it
might
end
have-
up here? If she went on a rampage, it looks
Well,
almost indestructible. Can you walk up to it?
yeah, you can walk up to it.
Yeah, I'll
It's
walk up
it's
to
in a
it.
big glass case.
Oh, it's in
So
a glass
there's
case.
like a glass wall around it. So you cannot touch it.
Oh, I was gonna like knock its leg, be like,
Also, 100% I'm picturing Transformers when they reveal Megatron.
Picture-
A little less edgy, but
kind of like Megatron, but personally, I'm picturing more Titanfall 2.
yeah, I don't never played it.
Me and Gordon have been playing a lot of Titanfall 2, and it's affecting D&D a little bit. Just kidding. This was always in the plans to be here. It's just more Titanfall 2 themed right now because that's the game I've been playing. But so it doesn't exactly look perfectly humanoid. Like it doesn't have 5 fingers on each of its hand. It only has like 2 big, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle style, 2 big fingers and like a
Right.
thumb almost.
It's probably got like a bunch of armor plates. And
Yeah,
stuff
it's
on.
got a lot of thick armor plates all around it. That's what I meant when I said thick. It has like a bunch of armor plates. So you can recognize that it's humanoid, but you can't exactly recognize like anything beyond that. But you can recognize it's supposed to be elven in nature because it has 2 big ears coming out of the side of its head.
That's not still a functioning device, is it?
I believe it could function
That is.
if we could power it, and if, well, considering your aunt made it after the age of magic, not before the age of magic, after the age of magic, that means she came up with some other power source.
I'm calling it Final Battle. Jules in this machine saves the day.
Shh, you can't ruin my plans like that, Dean. But
Well, that's okay. I look at the other glass cases too, because
all right, as you look at the other glass cases, some of them are like longer and they have several books in them, and some of them are shorter and just have 1 item. So there's 2 of them that have probably each of the 2 probably has 5 books, and you actually recognize the Golem book in one of these cases. And then in the other 2, one of them has a pocket watch that seems to be like futuristic in nature.
does said pocket watch resemble at all to a very memorable pocket watch in Cassiel's mind that a particular merchant used?
No, it does not resemble that pocket watch.
Okay.
This pocket watch is like, it's made of silver, psychic silver even.
Which I might recognize because I
Which
have
yeah,
a
you
lot
actually probably do recognize. It is made of psychic silver.
of... Okay.
Fun magical metals that I came up with for this world.
I point at that one and I'm like, that one might be post Shay's days since it's psychic silver.
Potentially. We have not been able to figure out what kind of magical properties that it had, but we do believe it might have been one of your first generation, one of their
Really?
items.
Do you have the identify spell?
Yes, but it does not work on something of this nature.
Really? Cassiel's just like, his mind is reeling. He's like, Mom really undersold what her parents and sister were capable of.
Yeah, she did. She didn't talk about her family that much.
Yeah, not a ton, but like enough that I knew they were Magicrafters. But like, this is a lot bigger deal.
Yeah. And then the final case has what looks to be a sword hilt, but just the hilt.
Is that broken?
No,
It looks like a hilt.
it is. She opens the case and reaches in and grabs the sword hilt and holds it up, and then she reaches and rummages around her bag and pulls out a big magicite crystal. It's like a battery in shape, very cylindrical, but it is almost soda can size. And she puts it on the bottom and twists, and it connects to the bottom of this sword. And the moment she does that, a sword made of fire and light.
It's like a sunblade from D&D.
It's like a sunblade from D&D mixed with a lightsaber. Comes out of the top of it.
Well, sunblade I think is a lightsaber.
This one's a little more fiery than the sunblade.
Okay.
It has more fire coming around the edge, but the center is like a lightsaber. And she like waves it around a little bit, then quickly twists the magicite battery off of the back and puts the handle back down.
Wow.
How did you power that? Is that magicite?
Yes, this is magicite. The Magicrafters, we have come up with a way to refine magicite into these magicite batteries, which, after some finagling, we can power most of the ancient relics. Just depends on how much. It required one this big to power that sword, and this is already about a quarter drained.
What kind of power sources did they use in the age of magic?
Oh, well,
Probably
according-
magic.
Yes, probably magic. According to the records, magic was plentiful then. The magic was just radiating in the air, so they didn't even need to think of an outside power source. It just was fueled by the magic in the air.
That sounds crazy.
Yes. If only we could still be in those days, but
Did you? I'm assuming you've probably looked at all of these books.
oh yes, I've read them all.
Was there any notes or family related?
No, unfortunately not. Unless there's one in the new one, but I haven't had time to read that one yet.
That's one right over there.
Yeah. She opens the case and
Can I
pulls
just
it out.
skim through it?
She hands it to you.
Thank you. I'll just start just right there, skimming through it.
It's full of mumbo jargon that you do not understand.
Oh yeah, but like, no notes or inserts or.
Nope.
Okay, I'll hand it back to her then.
She takes it from you, puts it back in the case, and closes the case. Says, well, I can't just leave you here, so I was going to say feel free to stay here as long as you
Yeah,
want, but please don't. I do have other work.
I glance at like the multinational level threat looking mech thing. Yeah, I didn't know there was something this powerful like 4 blocks away from where we were staying.
Yes. Well,
I'm
like I said-
surprised that it's here and not on the moving city. Wouldn't that be more secure?
you'd think, but unfortunately, the moving city is less secure than you would hope. This is why I am here currently, because they're dealing with some security issues.
Does like everybody in your staff know about this thing?
Everyone that comes down to the warehouse, yes. But, let's just say nobody's been able to figure out a way to power it yet. And
Okay.
so it is somewhat a useless piece of technology in most eyes.
In most days.
Well, yes, it is incredibly impressive. Nobody has been able to get it to turn on.
Alright, that's probably good.
Can I do like an Arcana check or a Nature check on the mech?
Not a nature, but you can do an arcana.
Okay, so
I just
there.
realized blank is just a mini con. To this thing.
It's like
Hook on the side, Gordon, go.
13.
With a 13, you can tell it is magical in nature.
Wow.
Wow.
You can also tell that it seems to require attunement.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
You can also tell... No, I can't tell you anything more.
I was like,
It was
it's
a
a 13.
Is this
Like,
based on a real D&D item?
Yes,
Okay, I think I know what item it's
Yeah.
based on. It's a crazy item.
it is indeed. It is based on... I did not come up with this. Like I said, this was always in the plans for this to be
What's
here.
it called again?
The Mighty Servant of Luoko or something like that.
Yeah, it's insane.
I talked to Trent about this thing being maybe
This was something
created?
me and
Yeah.
David came up with in his background. So
I didn't
like,
know it'd be 40 feet tall.
it's supposed to be huge.
Is that what a huge creature's size is? I'm pretty sure that's the next size up from huge.
Gargantuan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think huge is supposed to be 20 to 40 feet.
Oh, I think it's smaller than that, but
This is my world. So it's supposed to look like a dwarf mixed with a beetle too, and I made it look like an elf. So
Yeah,
like,
you did, which makes sense for the lore.
Is she leading us
yes,
out then?
she leads you out up the freight elevator again, and she goes back to the second floor and walks out of it, and then is beginning to walk back to her room, but then she turns back and looks at you and says, actually, unless y'all have, she does not say y'all, unless all of you have anything more you would like to discuss, I do believe I need to get back to work and maybe do some preparations for the incoming drones.
He wheels forth the drone. He wheels the drone forward.
She looks at it and says, again, I'm not going to sign a contract for this until
Not-
after these.
Not that, but like maybe we could look at the drone a little bit more before the other ones show up. That might help, right?
That's true.
We already
it might
know they're
help.
weaponized. Maybe we could find something.
Bring it into my
outside.
office.
Okay.
As she walks into Ward's office, she points down on the first floor and whispers something and then keeps walking.
Is there anything else you would need from us to help prepare?
No, not really. I do think that we shall be fine. It will require us some preparations, simply battening down the hatches, as they say, preparing this place, maybe getting some of our weapons up out of the basement to use.
The anti-aircraft turrets?
Yes. How did you know we had those?
You know, just a wild guess.
Huh. Yes, we'll probably move those up to the ceiling just in case. And we'll get
Vesper doesn't actually know what anti-aircraft turrets are.
and we'll have to get out all of our magicite batteries. Oh, this is going to be a financial wreck. We're going to go into the red this month.
Well, we still don't know if they're hostile yet. Yes, they have weapons, but
It is true. Let us hope for the best. Anyways, bring this into my office.
all right.
And actually, you get to the office door, and Jules is there.
He's gonna turn around immediately with the drone and just leave.
Gina actually grabs your arm and holds you.
She's a halfling. There ain't no way.
Roll a strength check, boy.
That I will do.
Natural 20.
Nope. 21. No, I'm kidding.
It's like a cartoon. You cannot move. She grabs you by like your forearm, and you cannot move as much as you're trying to run. And she says, "Don't run. I'll protect you." Jules, it's good to see you got my message. How did you get up here before me? She says, I jumped. I used the jump spell. I jumped. And Gina just sighs and is like, Jules, what if we said about not using spells around precious materials? Jules looks at her and goes, She goes, exactly. Please be more cautious. And Jules just like hangs her head and looks down. And Gina walks past her, kind of dragging you, Blank, with your hand on the cart, into her office. And then waves at Jules and says, "Come on, Jules." And she walks in as well. Vesper and Cassiel, are you going to follow them in there? They're about to go investigate this drone.
Yeah, I'll go in there.
Vesper's thinking he's gonna go warn the Templars as well.
Okay.
Hey guys, I'm gonna go let more people know about what's coming. Maybe the Templars. See if they want to make any kind of preparations as well.
Trent,
Yes?
I know sometimes we've thought of the Templars as like big law enforcement type of thing, but don't they just deal with corruption?
Yes. The Templar only deal with corruption,
Okay.
not kind of law. They are a very strong force, but they do their best to keep out of politics and law
Yeah,
enforcement.
but if something was attacking the city, they might help.
Of course, they'd help protect.
Or protect themselves.
Yes, of course. You also might want to try to warn like the militia or something like that.
Yeah, well, I assume the High Council will do that. Vesper
That's fair.
also wants to go back to the embassy and warn the people there,
That's a good idea.
and to see if they got a message from the Summerwood family for him.
That is a very good idea. All right. Cassiel and Blank, you go in the room and you start messing around with this drone. Blank, are you helping or are you just watching?
If I can, yes.
They'll let you help. If they're going to let you help, I'm going to let you roll. I'm not going to roll.
All right.
But I am going to give you advantage because you've got Jules and Gina helping.
What am I rolling for to help? Is it just like a straight flat roll or?
You are proficient in Tinker Tools, correct?
Yes.
Roll me a Tinker Tools check. So
Sweet.
add your intelligence or dexterity. I'll let you choose. And then add your proficiency bonus.
Did you roll with advantage?
I did, yeah. So I got a 15, and then plus the 2 dexterity and the proficiency bonus.
Yes.
So 19.
Okay, with a 19, as you investigate this, you find that it's got them a hidden machine gun, but it also has 2 hidden hatches on the side that burst out with 2 spinning circular saw blades on mini arms. But those saw blades also can twist out and be regular mini 3-fingered hands as well that can seem to have some kind of grasping potential.
On top of the arms it already has?
It doesn't have arms. It has kind of, I've been calling them arms, but they're just the branches that come off the top that are connected to the little helicopter blades.
Oh, I see.
These ones are actual arms with little hands at the end.
It's
of
like
them.
the cyborg in Treasure Planet. His arm just flips around to different tools.
Kind of, yeah. Except they only flip around from saw blade to little hands. You notice that it's got a big central kind of camera lens on the front, ocular camera. And with your investigation, you find that's where they see. Other than that, you don't find any other weapons. You do find a large chunk of magicite on the center that is carved and designed in a way you have never seen, and neither has Jules or Gina. But Jules starts to freak out, and Jules is like, "This is revolutionary! Oh my goodness, if I could use these kind of techniques!" And she runs out the door with holding it.
Oh,
And Gina is like,
She
"Jules!"
ripped it out of the drone?
Yes, she rips it out of the drone.
Can I string check stop her?
Yeah, go for it.
This is technically your property.
It is.
15.
Okay, I rolled an 11. She grabs it and starts to pull, and you grab her arms and boop, pull them off of it and pull her out, and she just looks at you and goes, "What are you doing? This is revolutionary. I need to pull this out so I can study this."
Jules,
What?
remember, this is, and he's just stuttering. He's really nervous talking to her.
Gina says, "Jules, sit down." And she immediately sits down on a chair. And Gina says, "Jules, this is not our property. This is Blank's property."
Cassiel just thinks in his head, but Blank is her property.
I need to find that contract and burn it fast. He's gonna take it and look kind of just at the ground, but just hold it and say, "You can draw schematics and plans on this, but please do not take this."
Her head perks up when you say that, and she goes, "Oh, yes, thank you." And she runs out the door to go grab some paper and pens. Jumping over to Vesper.
Yeah.
Vesper, right as you leave the door, you look up, and you see the clouds are completely blanketing the sky at this point. Black-gray storm clouds with lightning crackling around in them.
Is it natural how fast it grew? Do I have to roll anything to see that?
Storms can come really, really fast
That's
depending
true.
on where you are. So with your previous nature check, you still believe it's natural. But I will point out, there is some serious unnatural swirling of these clouds right above the top or the center of the city. The clouds seem to be swirling. And as you're walking, you kind of look up and you're like, that's kind of weird. And you notice they're swirling faster and faster on your way to the Templars.
That's not terrifying at all.
And
Is this freaking No Way or Far From Home?
right as you get to the Templars, you hear a voice boom throughout the city. And it says, "Ahem. Hey, listen!" Oh my goodness.
Sorry.
It says, The time is now. We have been under you for too long, and we are ready to come out of the shadows.
We are the mole man.
Come on, I'm trying to make this cool.
That's going through my head right now, too.
And right as this voice is a female voice, says this, a crack appears in the sky. And it just, looking at it, feels unnatural. This crack, it's like a crack in space itself. And you feel something burn your back. And
Is my scroll doing that?
your scroll is brilliant. It's covered in a brilliant platinum fire right now.
I open it,
And as you open it,
and I gain 3 levels.
there is a single line that is glowing with this brilliant platinum
It's like
fire.
a spotlight.
Like a spotlight, but it's like fire. It's like literally the scroll is on fire. Just that line, though. And the line is, the shadows approach. Stop them. And that is where we are going to end this episode.
And they literally said they've been hiding in the shadows.
Yeah, they did.
Ah.
You might actually recognize that voice, by the way. We'll do that next episode, though.
What? Do me and Blank hear this voice?
Yeah, you do. You would have heard this voice as well.
Okay, cool.
Oh, and you know what? You can recognize the voice, too.
Oh, shoot.
It's your daughter.
No! That's what I thought.
Oh, no.
But like I said, we do have to end this episode. It's going a little bit longer than what we intended. So thanks for listening, guys. I hope you liked another good cliffhanger. Stuff's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen fast. Thanks for listening. We love you. Go join us on Discord and find us on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, because we're on all of those. Or you can send us an email at our Gmail at channeldivinitypodcast@gmail.com. We love to talk to people. The Discord is one of my favorite things to look at and to talk to people about, especially on the Discord. It's just a lot of fun. So please go join us there and talk to us. We've got a names chat. You can send us names through there, or you can send us names through any kind of Instagram or review or email or anything.
Yeah, and please leave us a review if you like the podcast. We'll give you a shout out in the show.
That is true. We will give you a shout out.
We love receiving those.
Makes our day. Thank you so much for listening one last time. I feel like I've said that like 1,000 times, but we really do mean it. I'm Trent. I've been the DM for this campaign. And going around the table, we have...
I'm David. I play Cassiel De'Hart.
I'm Dean, and I play Vesper Ravenwing.
I'm Gordon, and I play Blank.
We'll see y'all next week.
Keep tuning in.